Alright, welcome back to my channel. It's been like a solid 6 months, but I thought today we would kind of cover another project that I work on. It's called the Negative Rescue Project. So I'm going to give like a brief overview of how I kind of fell into all this. I can give like a longer intro video to all of that, but essentially I got into film a while back and cat hair. Gross. So almost a year ago, I got a 30-pound box of negatives. These are glass dry plates, and then they're also film negatives. And they range an entire decade's worth of work from one person, and his name is Arthur J. Krohn. Arthur Jefferson Krohn. I was able to find a couple photos and boxes with his name on it and portraits of him. It covers roughly 1903 to 1914, and the 1914 kind of has an asterisk over it. 1914 has an asterisk over it because of this one photo. I don't exactly know when this photo was taken, but there's that 14 in the background and it says Marquette. I assume Marquette is a school, but I could be wrong. I haven't seen anything in the family history about anyone going to a Marquette school. It could be a high school, I don't know, but I would assume a college. But currently, I don't have any information on that, and if this is 1914, then that means this photo could be 1914, 15, 16, but I don't have anything to back that up just yet. I need to look more into it. It took me a really long time to kind of try and decide what I wanted to do with all of these. At first, I didn't think that I could take on the project myself. I was unsure about the scanning, what the best methods would be, even cleaning them. I decided I would try and call some archives, see if these had any historical value. I posted a few of these to Reddit, a couple Facebook pages, and people were freaking out, just saying, hey, you should contact an archive. These have huge historical importance. And I contacted a couple in Milwaukee and I contacted a couple in Madison. There are a couple envelopes. Some say Duluth, some say some places in Michigan, and some say Niagara Falls. And those ones I was trying to see if maybe those areas would have any interest in any of that collection as well. But the end result was every archive only wanted what pertained to them. Nobody wanted to keep all of Arthur's work in one spot. Duluth only wanted Duluth, and Niagara Falls only wanted Niagara Falls. And even with Milwaukee, even though the bulk of it, from what I can tell, is Milwaukee, Waukesha area, they only wanted Milwaukee. I thought maybe Madison would want them as an overall Wisconsin archive, but again, they only wanted things that pertain to Madison, and from what I have, it's not that much. So I decided to take on the project myself. The cleaning, the scanning, it was quite a learning curve for me. I generally do 35mm or 120 film, but this film is glass plates. It doesn't fit into a holder. I have to scan. I ended up buying a new scanner so that I could scan the larger sizes of film that came with these. There is a page on my website that kind of covers updates, where I'm at, what I've scanned, any problems. I even have an interactive map that I try to keep updated saying, oh, hey, he went here or he went here. It's, to me, that's just really interesting. You can also find it on Instagram. I created the Instagram first thinking, well, worst case, all I do is I post a couple photos here and there. And now I try to post daily, but I mean, some days are harder than others. The process itself is cleaning, which requires being really tedious with the glass. I don't want to remove any emulsion from it. I don't want to remove any, I don't want to break them, really. But I clean them, I scan them, and then I clean them again digitally. And some of them have way more specks than others, way more dust, way more scratches. Some I clean very methodically. Others I kind of want to show the degradation. I think that's the word. Anyway, Arthur Krohn, he was born March 24th, 1887 in Milwaukee, and he passed away at the age of 65 on June 29th, 1952 in New Berlin, Wisconsin. He had two older brothers, Leonard, born in 1883, and Frederick, born in 1881. He also had two younger sisters, Stella in 1888 and Clara, born in 1892. But sadly, Stella passed away when Arthur was 6 years old. His father was Emil Krohn, who was from Germany and arrived in the U.S. in 1856 when he was about 4 years old. His mother, on the other hand, I don't have as much information about, but her name was Anna Droog. He was an accountant for the Cogshell Print Company, but he was also a hobbyist photographer, which now gives me this giant box of negatives. I want to know if there's more out there, because I only have about a decade. So far, the earliest photos are from 1903, and they seem to be just normal life in a newly founded Cecil, Wisconsin. Cecil was named after a railroad man, Cecil Levitt, when the railroad was finished in 1884 that ran through the village. Cecil was and still is a small town today. I think they only have about 500 people. The things he took photos of were the life that was around him. He has photos of parties. He has photos of his family. He has photos of product photography. He did like to travel a bit, and he did take photos of places like Wausau, Wisconsin. He went to Duluth, which I haven't pictured yet, or I haven't scanned in yet. He also went to Niagara Falls. That's one of his furthest trips that I can date so far. That all happened in August of 1910. He traveled all over. He went and traveled to Niagara Falls, the town, but also just Niagara Falls, the nature preserve. He went into the Niagara Glen. He saw the bridges around there. He went to Buffalo. He went to, I believe it's called Queenstown over in Canada. And then he also went to Detroit on that trip. He also traveled to Wisconsin Dells, but I still have yet to scan that in. That is probably the second biggest envelope series, if not the biggest, next to the Niagara Falls series. So that one's going to take some time. But there is one mysterious box that I am currently sorting out, and I have posted some photos to before. A lot of the glass boxes were mixed up. And there is another trip. It's somewhere in California, near Los Angeles, but I don't exactly know where. One of my absolute favorite photos so far is of Edith Holloway. Her photo was taken in 1913. And I enjoy this photo because it not only shows the times based on how she's dressed, but I absolutely love the smile. And this is 3 years before Arthur marries her. So to me, that's just kind of really cool that I have this snapshot. And that was a very good photo to kind of start off the film photography portion of all of this. Prior to me posting anything before this photo, I believe was all glass. So seeing this photo, just kind of really enjoyable. And then just seeing the rest of the album that came with it, people having fun on the beach, just kind of a really interesting thing. I would say this is another photo that is one of my favorites. It's Arthur Krohn, and he's sitting with the boxes that I now own. It is just really interesting to me. While I don't know the actual date of this, I do know he was doing glass negatives around 1908 and 1909, because those are the boxes that I can date. And what's interesting to me is that these still exist today. I might not have the prints, even though there are a few prints in some of these boxes. It's just very awesome. It's very cool that all of a sudden these exist and they're in my possession. So on the Instagram page, they kind of get first dibs on what we get to see next. And it's kind of interesting. I end up throwing up a poll, just showing a bunch of envelopes that I'm ready to scan in, or I show some boxes that I'm ready to scan in, and I let them choose. The last one I let them choose, they ended up choosing a box called Portraits. And this messed everything up. The portraits actually don't exist. There's about 5 portraits in that box out of 20 photos, and the rest of the photos happen to be a box I already posted. So now I'm going back. I'm resorting out all these boxes, trying to figure out what goes where. Where we currently are is the Auditorium series. I shifted from the portrait box to the Auditorium series, and you can now see the Miller High Life Theater, that's what it's currently called, being built back in 1908. And that building finished construction in 1909, so that was one way I was able to date that box. Given I don't know when they started construction. But they look kind of far along, like midway along in the photos I have. We have so many more places to go. We have Duluth, which I've mentioned before. We have Chicago. We have Detroit. We have small suburbs around Milwaukee as well, like Cedarburg, Thiensville. Don't know if I'm saying that right. We have the entire Wisconsin Dells album or envelopes. We also have a circus, which I believe is a street circus in Milwaukee. And then there are so many photos left that I feel like I have 3 years worth of content. I ended up scanning in all of the boxes so that I could sort out the mess that they are, and I have over 100 glass negatives. If I'm posting one a day, that's still like a chunk of the year. And then I still have a large amount of film envelopes that I've yet to even touch or go through. So thank you for watching an introduction to this project. If you want me to take a deeper dive on any of the things I've mentioned, whether it be the cleaning process, whether it be the like a certain album or a certain envelope of photos, please leave a comment below. I'm always interested in what other people would like to see and learn about. I do plan on making more videos for the Negative Rescue Project because the Niagara Falls series, while I've already posted it, I do want to go to Niagara Falls and kind of do a before and after style photo shoot. A local news station out there did write a story about me. I will put a link in the description, and I want to be able to cover more of what I have found. Maybe one day take a trip out there. But for now, check out the Negative Rescue Project. You can find it on Instagram, Facebook, my website. Just type in the Negative Rescue Project and it'll pop up. I'm going to try and put out more content in the future, whether it's about this film or whatever else I end up doing. But like and subscribe. I don't know. Goodbye.